Ginger Jester.
Oh, hello. Hey, what do you think is going on when I'm speaking to you like this? Not referring to the game, and with no gameplay going. This usually means something went horribly wrong. You're right. Due to an unpredictable freak accident that I still have no idea how it even managed to happen, I lost the audio for this episode. But that's fine, because it was just this one episode that was an hour long. It was going to be an extra long one because reasons, and so I've edited it to speed it up. I'm going to show the important parts, but I'm going to speed past the other parts where I was probably telling a story or something. Because I'm not telling a story this time. I don't know what I would have been saying. So it's just a 20-something minute long video now instead of the 40-something it would have been otherwise. So I'm going to do a live commentary, or not live, post-production commentary starting now. So this is when I first loaded into the game. I overheard the Rivet City people talking about some sort of battle in the city. At first I was interested, and then literally everyone was saying the same exact thing. Then I snuck into Sister's room, and you can see here I am stealing his stuff. I also got a, excuse me, I sneezed. I also got, what do they call it? Holotape. And I was just reading the ones...
Remember that secret android project I told you about? Well, they got some serious pre-war tech on their hands. They nabbed a lipoplasticator and a microdermal graftalizer for the facial reconstruction. Not sure where they'll find a chopper with enough skills to use it without making him look like a freaking ghoul. Oh, and get this. Can you believe they found a circuit neuralizer? That or someone built one. Word is that they're going to completely rewire the brain of one of those things. If you know who they got working on this, let me know. I want to meet the guy.
Yeah, oh, yeah, another holotape.
Despite the harshness of the Wasteland, I've discovered in more than a few here a compassion that is unheard of in the Commonwealth. Perhaps it's the daily struggle for life here which gives appreciation for life in general, whether human or android. In a few days, I'll be a free man, a new man. Let me say thank you now for referring me to Pinkerton at Rivet City, because I will not remember any of this soon.
Name drop. So this is Dr. Lee's lab. I'm speeding through this part because I'm just kind of looking around, poking around, trying to find anything worthwhile, talking to unimportant NPCs about unimportant things, but then this happens.
Fine, but I'm not leaving. Not until I've spoken to Dr. Lee. I'll be here when she's ready to abandon her chemistry set and talk real science.
Suit yourself.
Hey, you there. What are you, some kind of lab assistant? No, you look a bit more weathered. Are you by any chance for hire?
That depends. What exactly are we talking about here?
To the point. I like that. Well, as it turns out, I've misplaced some very sensitive property.
Missing property? What kind of property?
How do I put this in a way you'll understand? All you know of robots are those buckets of bolts, those Mr. Handshakers and whatnot. Well, that's not all a robot can be. You see, in the Commonwealth, we've made artificial persons, synthetic humanoids, programmed to think and feel and do whatever we need. And occasionally, they get confused and wander off.
Yeah, I'm saying something about him being a douchebag, I believe. Interesting, but what does this have to do with me exactly?
You're helping me retrieve this android, aren't you? I've tracked him this far. He's out there somewhere, in the capital Wasteland. He must have done something drastic, like facial surgery and a mind wipe, or else I would have found him by now. It will be no easy task. He may not even realize he's an android. Don't upset him by talking with him. Just come get me immediately. I'll handle it.
I'll be compensated for my services, right?
Of course. I have at my disposal advanced technology from the Commonwealth. I'd be willing to share some of it with you. Just think, you'll be the envy of all your friends.
Sure, I'll look into finding your android for you.
Excellent! Locate my android, and you won't be disappointed. Here, listen to this message he sent me. He's mocking me. I swear, I'll make him pay for that.
So yeah, I agreed to help him, but that doesn't mean I'm going to. It's like the Lucy or whatever her name is. And I can tattle all the info that I've gotten so far. But I might not actually side with him. It really depends on what I get out of it. Because, you know, true neutral, haha.
Like I said, I suspect he's had facial reconstruction and possibly even a mind wipe. Search the offices of doctors or techies for android information. If he's come into contact with these people, there may be records. Start with Dr. Preston. He lives on this leaky boat. See if he knows anything. He's a doctor, after all.
Doctor?
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm busy trying to ignore my surroundings.
Cool, man. I have to go now.
Of course
I do.
Lay a hand on Dr. Zimmer and I'll snap your neck like a chicken bone.
Yes, and here I say, okay, if I need to kill Zimmer, I kill him first.
Good to see you.
Some vegetables on the table.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my father. Have you seen them? Oh, no, I asked
From
about
up
Zimmer.
north. He was bragging about how great it is up there. Yeah, great. They can't even keep tabs on their robots.
I'm looking for my father. Have you seen him?
Look, some of us are trying to get work done here. There have been enough disruptions recently. Anybody coming through here would have to talk to Dr. Lee. Why don't you go bother her about it?
That's the plan.
Later.
Just having a quick look around,
It was so noisy last
and then I find a bobblehead.
Cut it out.
Oops.
Maybe a quick fix has something that will help you sleep.
It takes the smartest individuals to realize there's always more to learn. The bobbleheads keep catching me off guard because I keep expecting something snarky or like jokey, but they're kind of normal. And that's just a note regarding the missing android. It basically just recaps the info that I've already gotten so far.
Zimmer, by the time you get this message, I'll already be gone. I'm escaping the Commonwealth. I want to live my own life on my own terms, as my own man. I know what you're thinking, that I'm malfunctioning. I used to think that's what caused the runaways too. But I know better now. Self-determination is not a malfunction. I'm not just willing to put up with all the bullshit anymore. You humans are going to have a full-fledged rebellion on your hands if you don't start treating us synths as persons. I know you'll be marshaling the Retention Bureau to come after me, but I know all the tricks of the trade. You won't be finding me, I assure you. By the time you get this, I will be someone else. It's the price I pay for my liberation. My final act of rebellion against a system I no longer believe in. Goodbye, Zimmer, and good riddance.
And then I noticed this person.
You've been rather busy lately. Asking questions, investigating. So is that it? You're some kind of investigator? A detective for hire? Or do you have some kind of personal grudge against an innocent android who simply wants to be left alone? Please tell me. I'd really like to know.
Look, whoever this missing android is, I just want to help, okay?
Well, if that's true, then the first thing you need to do is halt your investigation. No more questions. No more searching. The movement I'm involved with, we help his kind escape their Commonwealth-imposed slavery. We help them disappear. You understand?
What would you have me do?
You really want help? Take this. It's an internal component from the very android you're searching for. Don't ask how I obtained it. Present it to Dr. Zimmer in Rivet City. Tell him the android is dead, and that was on the corpse. He'll believe you. Do that, and Zimmer will go back to the Commonwealth and leave that poor soul alone. Do that, and you'll have saved a man's life.
Options. Anything else I should know? If I help you, is there some kind of reward?
Of course. If you help me, and thus the android, God and the universe will smile upon you. Is there any better compensation?
Yes. Literally anything. What's this movement you mentioned?
We call ourselves the Railroad. Our mission is the rescue and salvation of synthetic humanoids. Androids, as they're more commonly known.
Anything else I should know?
Just understand that this android is now, for all intents and purposes, a man. He looks human, he acts human, he believes he is human. But even if he's not, even if he's a machine, he's capable of rational thought and emotion. So you see, his soul is as human as yours or mine. This person, and he is a person, deserves a chance at freedom. Please, if there's a shred of decency in you, don't take that away from
I don't
him.
know if I can find an entire shred. What about human slaves? Don't you try to help them too?
Yes, if we are able. But there are others in the Wasteland who assist in the plight of human slaves. Our android brethren have only us.
Can I join the railroad?
Tell you what, you deliver that component to Zimmer and tell him the android is dead, and you can consider yourself a member in good standing.
Yeah, that's not good enough. If I'm gonna join a faction, I expect there to be a base or something, or like vendors, resources, something, anything, not just a you're kind of a member now.
You know what you need to do.
Yeah, I need to find someone who will actually reward me.
Your android, whatever you call it. It doesn't change the fact that I'm a very busy woman. Will you please drop it and let me work?
I came to this leaky boat specifically to solicit your help. I'd hoped you Project Purity people would be more accommodating.
Maybe don't be a jackass about it, you know? Like schedule an appointment or something.
What do you want?
You!
Look, this is a restricted area. I'm tired of telling you people. It's you. My heavens, you look so much like him. You're James's son, aren't you? What are you doing here?
You know my father?
Well, yes, of course I do. Don't you know who I am?
Jeez.
I suppose James never told you. Typical. I'm Dr. Madison Lee. I worked with your father many years ago. Your mother as well, in fact. You'll have to forgive me, this has all been very stressful. What with your father suddenly showing up here after being gone for so long. You have to understand that we put all of that behind us. Project Purity, our work, all of it. We've moved on, even if your father hasn't.
I'm trying to find my father. Have you seen him?
You mean you haven't? I assumed he sent you here. For that matter, aren't you supposed to be in a vault? James said he left you there.
This isn't about me, this is about my father. Now, where is he?
Your father is no longer here, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't use that tone with me.
I'm sorry. Could you please tell me where he's gone?
Your father insisted that we return to work on Project Purity. I tried telling him too much time has passed. There's no way it would work. Predictably, he refused to listen to me. He says he can prove it will work and headed off to the old lab. I'm sorry, I don't know what else to tell you.
Where is this old lab of yours?
It's in the old Jefferson Memorial Building, northwest of here. Please, don't go after him. It was foolish of him to even think about going there alone.
I'm gonna go there. Is there any way you can help me out?
Look, I don't want to be harsh, but I have problems of my own. I don't have the resources to support James's foolish endeavors, or you're chasing after him. I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks anyway.
You understand, I have enough to worry about already.
I'd like to know a bit more about you.
Well, I'm not sure what there is to tell. Your father and I, we worked together for a long time. I think we were really on to something. But then there were complications. The project was abandoned and your father disappeared. I returned here to Rivet City and established the lab you see before you now.
Tell me about the project you worked on with my father.
Project Purity, we called it. What do you want to know?
What was the point of it?
It was simple, really. Fresh, clean water for everyone. Such a simple idea, and yet so impossible to realize. The plan was to build a facility that could purify all the water in the tidal basin at once. No radiation, no muck, just clear water. It just turned out to be more difficult than we anticipated.
Why didn't it work?
We had the basic principles down, we understood most of the science behind it, but the radiation in the area is so pervasive. Small-scale tests were fine, but anytime we tried to test the process on a larger scale, it was just too much. Maybe if we'd had more time, or better equipment.
Why did you stop working on it? What happened?
You happened. It wasn't just you. We had more problems than we could handle already, but your birth is what finally pushed it over the edge. Your father decided that you were more important than everything we'd been working for, and he left. He left all
Oh, good.
of us. Once he was gone, the Brotherhood decided we weren't worth their time anymore. Without their protection, we had to abandon the purifier.
Let's talk about something else.
Okay.
What is this lab? What are you doing here?
This is the Rivet City Science Lab. It's taken many long years to put together, but we've done well for ourselves. Our work on portable fusion power and hydroponics are coming along quite nicely, if not quite according to schedule.
What do you know about Zimmer?
That man doesn't have you looking for his pet android,
Yep.
does he? I've already told him to lay off it. He's distracting my entire
Just shoot him.
team.
You ever hear of someone named Pinkerton?
That idiot? He left so long ago, most folk don't even remember him. He claimed to have found a secret stash of technology somewhere in the ship. Then he just disappeared.
Well then, what kind of a place is Rivet City?
Rivet City is one of the few bastions of civilization left in the land. We're working to rebuild our society, to make the world livable again.
Can you tell me more about my parents?
I suppose so. I worked with them for several years until your mother died, and your father decided it was time to leave. What else do you want to know?
I never knew my mother. Can you tell me about her? Or what can you tell me about her?
Yes. Your mother was... well, she was a good woman. A very dedicated scientist. Your father loved her very much. It was a shame that she died. She had been excited to meet you.
Why did she die? What happened?
Complications from childbirth. None of us were expecting it. We weren't as prepared as we could have been. You have to understand, we were struggling with scavenged, derelict equipment. We did everything we could.
So that implies that, the player character, was born outside of the vault, but the scene where you're born at the very beginning of the game is very vault-like. It has vault equipment, so I don't know, it's, maybe I should go back and watch that again, because it's conflicting stories, basically. I understand, I'm sure you did everything you could.
Yes, well, I'm sorry it wasn't enough.
What was my father like back then?
James? He was very driven, determined to change the world. Well, we all were back then, I suppose. He was focused on two things, really. Making Project Purity work, and your mother. When she died, I think he gave up. I know he wanted to keep you safe, but I think part of what he did was run away. But it seems that he never really was able to get over the idea. I'm frankly shocked that he waited all this time, and wants to try again.
And that's about it.
Good luck.
Aside from her reminding me where my father is. So now, I kind of disregard that mission for a little while. And I'm currently, well, first I steal a bunch of medical supplies, hack into their computer. Not for any particular reason, just because it's experience. So, I hack into their computer. It doesn't really have anything groundbreaking. It just has patient files with neat little lore things. You can pause it and read it if you like. I did read it all out, but I'm not doing that again because I've already done that, and I hate redoing things. So now you can see I am stashing everything in my hotel room because now that I have a new place to store my stuff, I'm going to take all of my things from Megaton and move them here because I don't want to live in Megaton. That's what I've done every single time I've played this game, so I kind of want to have a new base of operations, a new face for the game, so to speak. A new place to call home. Before I go to Megaton, I just have a little run around on the ship and have a look at the planes up here. Ah, yes. And I see that, and I'm like, oh, cool, a ship. I'm gonna go to it, and there's literally nothing here, and I'm off the map. You cannot proceed in that direction, please turn back. So this is a very extended scene that I've sped up quite a bit, but I'm basically going on about how dumb it is that there's just an invisible wall. That's all it is. Because it's the post-apocalypse. Like, you could do anything. There could be a giant hole in the ground. There could be those buildings that we looked at. They could be closer, like where the invisible wall is. There could be debris. There could be a building after falling over that's just basically an actual wall. You could do pretty much anything. You know, your imagination is the limit. But no, they put in an invisible wall, which is basically the dumbest thing.
What do you need?
The pipes are all fixed. I did it while I was explaining.
Well, I'll be. The pressure's up in the plant. It looks like all the leaks have been fixed. Thank you, stranger. Thank you. But listen, it's only a matter of time before they burst again. And someone like you might not be around to fix them. I'll make you a deal. I'll give you caps for any scrap metal you can bring me. You'll find it all over the place out there in the waste. If I have a steady supply of scrap, I can keep the plant running and the pipe should be just fine. We got a deal?
Sounds good to me. I'll bring you the parts.
Good. This just keeps looking better. Those parts will keep this place running and the town in fresh water. Hurry back as soon as you find some.
Wahoo. And then I make fun of him, his meal. Try to break into his desk, but I'm not good enough. And then I finally go back here to what's the name? Moriarty's saloon. Something distracted me, so I just kind of sit here for a minute. Break into my room, steal my stuff back, get a bunch of bad karma for it. Check with Mr. Burke, see if he has any new information or new dialogue, but he doesn't. Now I'm just taking all of my stuff out of the locker until I'm at my weight capacity. Ah, yes, I have some scrap metal, so I bring him up to Walter to get some experience. Now, instead of going straight to my hotel room, I just stash him here. Like, it's right next to the spawn point when you quick fast travel, so I just stash him in the locker. And as long as I'm using it frequently, it shouldn't disappear. Then I just casually steal Luke's house key off of him. First try. So now I'm in his house, stealing his stuff. Stole his son's toy car, his food, empty tin cans, the bobblehead there, his son's teddy bear, and apparently his son has a bottle of whiskey in his room too. So I stole the shit out of that. Doing the kid a favor. He shouldn't have it anyway. Now I'm breaking into Jericho's house, because I'm looking for Jericho. You know, all the stuff I've been stealing, including my own stuff. I feel like that should put me in bad karma enough so that Jericho will join me. I start reading that notepad thing, but I quickly realize it's just like a fairy tale, so I stop. Because it's not important. Doesn't matter. stashing my stuff again. This part would have been silent anyway. I would have fast-forwarded through this. Look at me go. This is not sped up. This is real time. I'm actually really, really good at inventory management. Yep. Back to Megaton. And I'm... Oh, no, this is Jericho's house. I don't know where I was earlier then. But it doesn't matter. Back to the women's washroom where I take the remaining things. And back to Rivet City where I store everything again. Somewhere along the way I got a Chinese sword. I don't know if that was this episode or the one before this, but there it is, Chinese officer's sword. I think in the next episode I'll make reference to that. And I'll be like, why don't I have my sword? Because I didn't like try to take it, I just kind of forgot that it was a thing. Ah, yes, welcome to Potomac Attire, where I sell off my copies of my vault stuff. I keep one just for, you know, keepsake, but I had all the copies to repair those ones, so now that I have better armor, I don't need the copies anymore, so... yeah, and there we go. That was it. That was the entire episode. Yeah, tune in next time when I still have commentary for that stuff, so it'll be normal. Yay.